Welcome to the Leading Well podcast. My name is Steve Green and I will be your host. This podcast is brought to you by Elim Christian Center and it's focused around Christian leadership, church leadership, ministry, and life. This is less about me teaching you about leadership, but rather let's have conversations with people we can learn from to help you in your calling and in your walk with the Lord. Enjoy the podcast and enjoy the journey. Welcome back to the Leading Well podcast. This is a podcast of Elim Christian Center. My name is Steve Green and I'm the senior pastor of Elim Christian Center. And this is really a part 2 of our conversation.
Yeah.
This podcast is all about leading well, life and ministry, leadership, discipleship, growth, and having good conversations with people around the whole realm of leading in ministry and in our Christian walk. So back to you and me, Bexy. We are. This is part 2 of the conversation we started in the first part of this podcast.
Yes, and just chatting through the first part of the podcast. If you haven't listened to it, encourage anyone to go back and have a listen. All about our ministry journey, really, eh?
Yep. What's led us to this point here?
Yeah.
How we both kind of came to faith, came to our church, and the journey thus far.
Some of the lessons learned along the way.
Some of the important things that God has done and taught us along the way. So very cool. Hey, I wanted to just kind of circle back a little bit into our story, particularly over the last sort of 5-6 years. We kind of glossed over those a little bit, but there's a lot in the last sort of 5 years, the last season for us, particularly with sitting in the senior pastor role, leading our church, having transitioned into this role from our founding pastors, Pastor Luke and Marilyn, and I guess learning to lead at a different level, and also going through COVID, also for me personally, going through some pretty dark days, going through a pretty serious health challenge, mental health challenges, and not actually thinking we'd still be here for a good chunk of that. And yes, you want like 2020? Should we dive there? And
2020, the year that was crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
Crazy. 2020. So we had been on sabbatical.
Yeah.
And we arrived back in New Zealand in the February. And I remember we were actually in America on our way home.
Yes.
I remember being in Disney World. I was on a bus to Disney World. You had been sick with a
really
chest
sick.
infection. You were in the hotel and I'd taken the boys for our last day at Disney. And I remember ringing my dad and he said to me, what are you doing? And I said, I'm on the bus with the boys. Steve's sick in the hotel. And he said to me, he hasn't got the coronavirus, has he? And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
We had been in this little cocoon where we hadn't seen the news or anything. And he told me about this pandemic that was sweeping the world and had been had just hit America, I think, at the time that we were there.
Yeah, so
and
I don't know if I did or not.
I don't know if you did, but on the way home,
sick.
I remember you were so sick, and I remember you saying to you, just don't cough, don't show any signs of illness. We just need to get home.
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get on the plane. I was so sick, but it was just like, just get me home.
Yeah, get home, because when we landed home, we were prayed in as the senior pastors, and within a matter of weeks, we were in lockdown.
Yeah,
it was wild.
It was a crazy time for the world, and a difficult time to be in leadership, and a very bit of a hospital pass getting chucked in the mix of that.
Because we weren't online, right, as a church.
Yeah.
It was all new. Yeah. We had to go out and send a team to go and buy all the equipment and do an online service. I remember filming about 6 services all in one go.
Yeah, it was
so that
crazy.
We could get it online.
Maybe never go back there again. It was a time, man. But we kind of, I guess, journey through that. I went through some significant mental health challenges, dealing with anxiety and depression and suicidality and all of that. And that's a whole other story. And that you can find, if you want to know more about that, you can actually find that on our Living Well podcast, which we've got episodes from last year and the new ones that we've released as well, which deep dive into that story. So we won't labor on that here, but if you want to know more,
deep
you
dive
can
into both parts of the
sides,
story.
Yeah.
So there's Steve's side, but then there's also my half of the story and what that meant for me during that time.
That's in the Living Well stuff, and it's a great resource, and really encourage you to go and check that out. But what's been interesting is growing along this ministry journey has been a series of just like leveling up in terms of what God is asking of us, what we have to carry, what we have to lead. And so how do you feel like you've managed that? How do you feel like we've managed that? What's that like? What is it like to level up in those spaces? Because it can feel really like intimidating.
It can, for sure. When you're looking at the size of what we took on at the time, and then the rate at which it grew from then on, like after COVID, when doors opened and restrictions dropped and vaccination restrictions dropped, it was just like this growth, just this momentum just ran with it. When we took on the role, we were less 2 campuses, I think. Like since we've taken on 2 campuses, we had 1 school that's now become 3 schools. We've bought buildings and facilities and land, and it's just grown, and it's just running at a really fast rate, right? And I think even though we talked in the last episode about the growth that we'd seen over the years, but when I think about it, I think maybe in the last 5 years we've had to take the biggest step up. I think in the growth that we've seen, and for both of us, because we both have now got significant roles, right? So when you took on the senior pastor role, we knew that you couldn't continue to lead the largest campus and take on that role because it was so significant. And so we went on the hunt for a new lead pastor for Botany
campus,
which we struggled to find until God said to you,
I remember praying and God said, they're right in front of you. And I'm like, who? And it wasn't until some of our other oversight board said, well, what about Becs? I'm like, she is literally right in front of us. And that was I stepped out of that decision and let the oversight team make the call and lead into that to appoint you, which was amazing. And
I think they went to a vote.
Yeah, I think so. But it was the right call. You've done phenomenally well. I mean, and then I guess that's the really interesting part of our ministry journey is that you are leading a church in your own right. You are leading this campus. It's our largest campus. 2,500 people on a Sunday. Multiple staff, multiple departments. The hub out of which most of our church operates across our campuses, while still being a mum. And still carrying all the responsibilities.
It sounds like a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, it does. And then in the midst of that, you've now written 2 books. So, I'm very much in awe of what you do. And so, how do you do that? How is that?
Well, I think it has been a huge step up in terms of my leadership and my own thinking about what my role is, right? So it's a move from doing all the things to building a team and raising leaders to carry it with me. And then there comes a time where you're not only delegating tasks and things, to-dos, but you then are also teaching people and delegating the decisions that are being made, and you're handing over responsibility for authority, not just responsibility for tasks.
Yeah. I think often leaders are very good at giving tasks to do.
Yes.
And that's okay, but it'll only take you so far.
It will, because you're still operating in that management. And that's what I mean by lifting the level quite significantly, is because that is the next level up. I remember in the first year or 2 that I took on this role, I remember knowing that I had to learn to delegate, learn the art of delegation a lot more. And I remember delegating lots and sort of divvying out a lot of the things that I had in my role, which didn't need to be me. That question of, does it really need to be you? Asking that a lot. And then I got to the end of the year and I was just praying about it. And I kind of said to God, I still feel the weight of it, even though I'm not doing it all. I still feel the weight of it. And it's some of this weight that I know that I don't need to have as mine, because I need to level up into different stuff, right? And I remember God just saying to me really clearly, it's because you've delegated tasks, but you haven't delegated decisions.
Right.
And so with every decision that was being made was still coming back to me.
you. Yeah. And or a decision might be made, but they still check it, or they still come back and go, it did or didn't work right.
Yeah. And so, but then when you get to that point where you've got your team, so I spend a lot of time putting the right people in the right places. So lots of moves around within the team, and it's taken a good 3 or 4 years for moves. I think of it like a bus. You've got to get the right people in the right seats on the bus. So we did a little shuffling in the bus. And then when you get to that point where you're like, this is it. We've got the right people in the right seats doing the right things. And then you're able to delegate decisions. You then sit there and you go, oh, well, what am I going to do now?
That's right.
But that's the place you need to be.
Exactly.
Because then you've got space to actually work on the bigger, the vision,
Yeah.
the culture.
Yep.
If you're stuck in the weeds of everything,
Yeah.
you're never going to have time and opportunity to do that.
That's right. They call it you're working on it, not in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And leadership always requires somebody to be working on it. If there's no one sitting at the helm looking forward, looking ahead, thinking about not just where we are now and what needs to be done today and tomorrow and this Sunday or whatever, but actually looking ahead going, where will we be in 6 months,
Where are we
12
going?
months, 5 years? Where are we going and what do we need to do now to position ourselves for where God is leading us? You have to create margin out of task into a strategic, visionary leadership role where you are now giving yourself margin and room to think about and pray about and seek God for and strategize and plan and prepare for where God is leading you to go and building that capability into your team. So it does often feel like I'm doing less tasks, but I'm holding more responsibility.
And it's hard not to feel guilty for doing less tasks, right? Because you're like, oh, I feel like I should be doing more.
Yes. But the what you're doing carries more significance than maybe I'm doing these few tasks, but actually what the energy and the time that you're putting into these other things is what's going to help everyone else also to succeed, because you're going to be able to give clarity and give vision and give insight and give wisdom and direction but also within that you're releasing people to do the job and do it with authority and do it with responsibility, do it with accountability, but you're not having to be there on the ground always making all the decisions. And I think that is the challenge as a leader is when you maybe are a bit of a control freak, and I'm not accusing you of being a control freak. No, I'm not. I would never do such a thing. But
I'm not a control freak. I just like to be in control.
Yeah, and you like things done your way. That's fine. But
my way's the right way.
You are always right. That's fine. What happens is you can end up taking things back, doing it yourself,
holding on to it, never releasing it.
Because even though you've given it for somebody to do, you want them to make the same decision you would make, or you want them to do it exactly the way you want it done. And sure, we've got standards and we've got accountability, but if you want to grow people and you want to attract high capacity people and release people into their gifting and release yourself to work on, not in, you can't have it all your way.
And you have to first settle that it might not be how you would do it.
That's right.
Or it might fall over a few times before it comes right. But it's in that process that you are releasing someone else to grow. So you're growing a leader, but then you're also growing in your own position and space as well.
That's exactly
and so you've got to be okay with it not being exactly as you would do it.
Yeah. You can either have it done exactly how you want it, or you can have someone else do it. But you can't have both.
Yeah.
So you got to choose what you want.
Yeah.
And if we're looking for multiplication, expansion, growth, people to step up into their callings as well, you just can't. You can't control it all. You have to release it. It may not be perfect, but is it good? Is it is it going to still get the job done? Are they also going to grow in it? Then we're okay. And is there accountability and teaching and growth that comes off the back of that?
Yeah, sure.
So I think, when I think about stepping into these different sort of stages of leadership growth that we've had, like going from being just like a youth leader to youth assistant to youth pastor to campus pastor to another campus pastor to a senior pastor. Every time you're like, oh my gosh, you kind of feel the sense of like, oh yeah, God's leading us into this. But at the same time, you're very aware of your own inadequacy and own, like, I don't know if I know what I need to know. Or then you go, oh, are they sure they're picking the right person? Like, do they really know me?
What's that called? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, very much so. And it's also like, if they really found out what I was, what they'd said,
would they still give me the job?
And so often I refer to myself as the accidental pastor. I just said yes a few too many times. And like you say yes to Jesus a few too many times, and you find yourself, oh man, I'm really in this now.
Accidentally end up leading the thing.
Yeah. But it's the reality is it's not an accident to God. God's had his hand on it. And I always found when we stepped into a new role and a new level, there was this like almost like a mantle, like a weight, a spiritual kind of authority that sort of you feel it. Like you really, you're like, oh, this feels different in a spiritual context. It's like, this feels quite different and it requires more of me. But there's also God's grace to do what he's asked you to do.
Yeah.
And you will grow, you will learn, you'll make mistakes, you'll develop yourself personally, you'll read, you'll learn, all those sorts of things. But there is also like that, just the hand of God that moves to give you what you need. Like I love in the book of Proverbs, it says that, the Lord directs the steps of the godly and he delights in every detail of their life. And I've always looked at it in the respect that God directs your steps, and all it is one step after the
One
other,
step
just
at a time.
one step at a time. And
Yeah.
when we look at like the enormity of where God might be leading you to or whatever, it's not about getting from here to there in one go. It's not, God does not direct the leaps and bounds of the godly. It's just the steps. So whatever the next step is he's leading you into, just take that step, because it's at that step you get the preparation and the encouragement and the experience and all the things you need in order to take the very next one. You couldn't jump 3 steps ahead, but you can take one, and you can learn and grow and develop and be formed and shaped, and then you take another one, then you take another one.
And it's often not until after a season when you look back and you go, oh, wow, that was such preparation. Like I think about our Whangarei season.
Yeah.
That was like enormous preparation ground for when we came back down to Auckland and we led botany. So many of the things we learned up there, we had to kind of put into place.
That's right.
When we came back to Auckland. But I think it took coming back and looking back to really see that. And so when you're in it, you really have to trust God that it's one step at a time. And as I take my step, he'll equip me for that step.
That's right.
And as I take another step, he'll equip me again, because hindsight is only hindsight, right? It only comes when we look back.
That's right.
In the moment of it, it's hard. You have to really trust God that what you need, he'll give you.
Yes.
And that he will provide you with.
Yeah. And it's not about you. It's about him. And it's also not about you having all the answers and knowing everything. You're like, that was one of my growth challenges along the way, was like, if I'm supposed to be the leader, then I should have it all together. I should know the answers. I should have clarity and vision and all these things. And then my frustration was, I don't know if I have all that.
It looks like other people have it though. When you look at another leader, you're like,
always envious.
They look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And I think what I learned was, I don't have to be the smartest. I don't have to have all the answers. But what I can do is I can rally a team, and I can leverage the strength of those around me,
of a team,
and bring smart people and gifted people and graced people around into a team environment, so that we're actually leading this together. It's not solely my responsibility, but there's a collective, and together it's the body being the body. It's gifts working in unison. It's gifts working not in isolation, but with one another, and they complement one another, and they strengthen, and they correct each other. And then we get a fully kind of formed picture of what I think Christian leadership is. And it's not putting a one person on this pedestal that they are this anointed man of God, but actually going, you know what, there is a gift of leadership, and there are people that God appoints to lead his church and to do these things. But it's actually about a collective group of the church, the wider church, the people of the church, who are bringing those other gifts and abilities and talents and passions and all that stuff to into the mix. And then I think the gift of leadership goes, we need that, we need that, we need that, we need that. Yes, that's the answer. Let's move there, let's go there. And so you're able to leverage the room, but you don't have to be the smartest in the room. I often, one of our good friends, Pastor Mike Griffiths, he used to tell me off, because I used to say all the time, I feel like I'm the dumbest in the room. He's like, Steve, you're not dumb. But what I mean by that is, man, there's some really smart people around me. And you've got to become okay with it.
You've got to be okay with it.
If God called you to what he's asked you to do, you've got to be okay that you are not going to have all the answers, and you're going to have moments where you're like, I really just don't know. So I think it's a great step in leadership to go, hey guys, I have no idea what the right call is here. Can you help? And then boom, it's like that synergy effect, it's not just 1 + 1 is not just 2 ideas, but it's 1 + 1. You've got an idea, I've got an idea, but together we can come up with a whole nother one. And so there's a growth in that.
And in that, there's this trust that goes, I don't know all the answers. I'm surrounding myself with people who are very capable, very smart, carry so many strengths. And in that, it's a real learned thing to not fall into comparison and insecurity, but to really grab a hold of like you said, the mantle and the authority and the leadership role that you've been given to be the leader while also engaging all of those other voices and those types of things. And I guess trusting in the position that God's given you, right?
Yes.
I remember when we first moved to Whangarei thinking, oh my goodness, I'm only 26, 27. I've never led adults before. They're all going to know more than me.
Yep.
They're going to know more about the Bible than me. They're going to know more about life than me. Like, how am I supposed to do that? And I remember speaking to a friend who'd done something similar not long before me. She was younger than me. And I remember saying, how do you do this? How do you go into a room of people that are way more wise than you are? And she said, you have to put aside yourself and realize it's not you, it's the authority that's been given to you by God.
Yeah.
And walk in that, not in you.
Yeah. I like Paul says, no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. It's like,
Yes.
it's not me anymore. It's actually just about me surrendered to the Lord and actually going, God, whatever you'd have me do, I'll do it, and I'll go and I'll trust you in the midst. And it's a point of humility too, I think, with in leadership where you can be secure enough to say, I'm going to bring really good people around me, and I'm going to stack the deck with wise, gifted, graced people who carry a heart and vision for the church, or carry a heart for a vision for our ministry or whatever, and actually be okay to go without having that insecurity of, oh, what if they get better than me? What if they grow further than me? What if they're more gifted? What if people like them more? I've lived by a bit of a mantra like, I don't care. Who cares? If they grow more, cool. Who cares?
Yeah, great.
If people love them, like, great, who cares? Like, God's in this, God's got his hands on it, and we've got to trust that he's in control.
Because that's the danger of an insecurity, right? Is that we will begin to fall into that trap of holding people back and not releasing them because we're fearful of what that might mean for us in our position, in our role. Will they come for me? Will they come for my job? Will they be able, people look at them and go, wish it was them and not him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
all
right.
that kind of stuff. It plays into it.
It does. It certainly does. So if you look at where we are now, like, and where we started, like when we started, how is where we are now different from where we thought we'd be?
Wow. Well, firstly, I don't think we ever pictured that this is where we'd be. Like, I don't think we ever.
I think we both had a sense that we were called. Obviously, we were called to leadership, called to service church,
and to something reasonably big.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I ever pictured that you would be the senior pastor.
No.
And we would be leading the whole thing.
No.
But look, gosh, we've come such a long way, and I think we are totally different people from where we were before.
Yeah, very much so.
I think what the biggest thing I've learned is dependence on God.
Yeah.
I think that is probably the big difference in my leadership and my ministry is the leaning in to God, both feet off the floor.
Yeah. I trust
fully
you.
trusting.
Yep.
I've got nothing on the ground to hold me.
Yeah.
To be an extra backstop.
Yep.
I'm all in, and I'm listening, and I'm asking, and I'm seeking.
Yeah.
And if you don't show up,
we're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between us then and us now.
Yeah. And I think, it's, for me, it would be twofold. It's learning to lean on God like never before, but then learning to lean on people too.
Yeah.
So like that we would not be where we are here had it not been for phenomenal people who went before us, who empowered us and released us, and then also amazing people who are walking alongside us now, who've got our backs and pray for us and champion us, and likewise we do the same for them. So it's an incredible journey, and it's beyond what we would imagine. Like I think I shared this in episode 1. It's like, if I wrote the plan for my life, it would not be this.
No way.
Praise God, I didn't write the plan, and He wrote the plan because it's way better.
I think our plan would have been way
so small,
less ambitious.
Yeah, way smaller. And so I think it's a testament, but everything that we are now able to be part of and do and have is a testament to the grace and the goodness of God, that He is far, far better than I ever thought He was, and more we're discovering just the goodness and the grace of God towards us, and how He really wants to use a surrendered life to help and impact people and extend his kingdom. And what a cool thing to be part of. What an amazing joy that we get to serve people and make a real difference with our lives. And we hope we do anyway. And bless a whole stack of people.
Yeah, totally. I think what I've learned, especially in the last 5 years, and I think probably thanks to COVID and thanks to your health struggle that you went through, I think what I've realized and what we've both discovered is that it's less about how hard we work and how doing this and doing that and putting this in place and striving for that. It's less about that and more just about walking in step with God and in alignment with Him. Good stewardship, being faithful, doing simple things well, all those types of things. I think in our early years, and even like as youth pastors in Whangarei, even in the first 5 years that we came back down to Botany, I think we probably worked more than we should have and needed to in our own strength. I think we thought there were things that were important that weren't important.
Yeah.
I think we thought we had to do this and we had to have that and we had to be this, when actually what we've realized now, we've stripped it back, and some of that's been COVID, some of that's been sickness, some of that's just been
God's refining process.
Totally. Is to strip it back and go, oh, we don't actually need that. It's making room for God. If we take out our own personal striving, our own personal working and feeling like we have to do it, that makes room for God to do more.
I think
I said it in the first one, that we feel like we're working less, but God is doing more. And it just, I think that learning that it's not actually about some of the things we thought it was about.
Yeah, great. I love that. So it's in preparation for this podcast, some of our team and some others who they've actually just thrown some questions at us, or some things they want to know a bit more about in terms of the leadership journey. And look, the heart of
nosy Parkers.
Yeah, they are. They're very nosy. The heart of this podcast is really to help people in their walk with God, but more so maybe from a leadership framework or from a ministry framework, leading church. But I mean, my hope is that this podcast would also help anybody in any kind of leadership role in business or in education or wherever it might be, and also just to expand our horizon, but grow our thinking, grow our heart, grow our spirits, that we would see the bigness of God and believe Him for what He's calling us into. Because I'm so excited about this next season of life and ministry in church. But one of the questions that guys wanted to know about was about our marriage.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and how awfully horrible it is. Please send help. I'm just joking.
Whatever.
How do we balance our time and our work and our life? And, ministry is like this all-encompassing, like if you're on church staff or involved in the life of church, in particular leadership, you'll know this thing can take every second of every day. There's always another service. There's always another pastoral issue. There's always another drama. There's always another crisis. There's always another funeral. There's always another wedding. There's just stuff. And we're in the people business. We're helping people. But this place can consume your life. And the fact that we are here every day, we work together, we live together, we pretty much... So how do we balance that? I don't know how we do it. So how do we do it? Over to you.
Over to me. I don't know. I mean, we've tried. I think we've probably done it well in some seasons, and we've done it probably poorly in other seasons. I think we have learned the art of finding ways and avenues to fill our tank.
Yes.
That has helped us in the busy seasons. So I think we purposefully live in a place, and it took us a while to get there, but that was always the goal, is to live in a place that felt like it was a retreat and a relaxing space for us to be in. We've both found some hobbies and some things outside of church that are able to feed our soul and fill us again. I think that's been really significant for us to know what fills you and to be able to read your own read your own gauges and go, I need to just take a beat and I need to do something create. Like for me it's doing creative things. And
You do really tacky diamond art
Oh,
from Kmart.
stop.
And Bex does diamond art, cross stitch. What's the other
Embroidery.
thing? Embroidery.
Puzzles.
Puzzles.
I've recently taken up watercolors.
Yes, we take up a lot of different activities.
Listen, if you want to talk about taking up activities,
Let's not. I think
there are a few gadgets in our garage.
yes, maybe, but anyway, and it's not about me. It's about us. So I think what we have done well is realize that there is, like, we have a young family too.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 2 young boys. Judah's 15, Rocky's 12.
Yes.
We've only got them for a few more years. That's the reality. I know it's very sad. And they've grown up so fast, and they're awesome kids. They're great boys, and we love them so much, and we're so proud of them. And they love God, and they're involved, and they're just awesome. God's blessed us in that. But like, we've had to make sure that these guys have to get good mum and dad time.
Yeah.
They have to get good family time. Like, the church could take mum and dad, and they could never see us, you know what I mean? There's always, so we're pretty disciplined with like nights out in the week.
Yes.
And again, we've had to we've done that well sometimes, badly other times, but we've had to learn. Even, being church leadership, a lot of people are like, hey, let's do dinner. Can we catch up with you guys? And like, we really want to.
Yeah.
But for me to say yes to having dinner with you tonight, I'm saying no to taking my kids to football training.
Yeah.
I'm organising someone else to do that so that they can. And so I'm saying no to a dad commitment by saying yes to a pastor commitment.
Yes.
So, all right, well, maybe that's a no for now.
Yeah.
And can we do it at a different, can we catch up after church on Sunday?
Yeah.
Can we meet up before night church? Can we do it a little bit? Can we meet up for lunch during the week while I'm in the office and doing it differently? But learning those boundaries that's really difficult because you want to be super accessible as a pastor. You want to be available for people, but at the same time, not at the cost of our kids. And we've always tried to make sure our kids knew that they were first for us.
First ministry, that's right.
And that we were in this together.
Yeah,
like
they are
they're
our
part of
first ministry. And I always we always had that mentality of we didn't want to get to the end of it all and for our kids to say, like, the church ate mummy and daddy, and they were never accessible to us because they were accessible to everybody else. And so we did make a decision at one point. I think it was when they were about 3 and 5. We made a decision, no nights out for a season where we were not going to do midweek stuff.
We're not going to do a small group.
We're not going to go and speak in a small group.
Yep.
There are other people who could do that just as well, if not better than we can. And so we're going to commit to, at this stage, when we've got young children, parenting them, because that's where our greatest
the other thing for us in our lives is we don't get weekends.
No.
So as a family, we don't have weekends.
So we can't go away for a long weekend.
No. So we do, like,
exist.
Sunday happens, Sunday happens every week, and so we're involved in some capacity. And so our kids get us for one day a week. That's a Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sundays, we barely see our kids on a Sunday.
They're
into it and they're doing stuff. And in the early years, we had like a nanny that would help us with the kids. Like, we'd leave early on a Sunday, come back late, and we'd be like, hey, kids are in bed. And you're like, okay. So in order for us not to take any more family time off them, we just made sure, hey, we're gonna for this season, for right or for wrong, we're gonna make sure we prioritize midweek is home, midweek is family. Monday to Friday night, we're at home, we're doing family stuff. There's the occasional thing that takes us out. That's not the norm.
Yeah.
But the rhythm is that we're mum and dad. Because, like I said, babe, there's like Rocky's 12, maybe 8 years.
I don't even want to think
I know,
about
he'll be
it.
20. And they're uni, they're off, they're maybe doing their own thing. And so we've only
for
got
a season.
It's a small season of time that I don't want to blink and miss. It already feels like we have a bit, but I want to value this because, man, we're going to be able to I can do, once they're gone, we can do midweek every night if we want to. We can speak at any small group we want, we can run as many, like, we can do that sort of stuff, but that's not now.
Yeah.
For
I think
us.
it's recognizing your season, right? Recognizing what season you're in. When you've got little babies, there's even more of a different commitment there. And so we have to recognize the seasons that we're in and shift and adjust accordingly. There are some things you can do when you've got little ones, and there are some things you can't do. And it's
It's okay.
It's okay. It's important not to get frustrated at that, but to just lean into that season and try your best to enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be over. It's, there's a season for everything, a time for everything. And I know, I remember having this conversation with pastors. We often ask this question to pastors. How do you do it?
Like, especially when our kids were young, right? We asked all of them.
How do you do it with kids? And I remember one couple said to us, we take the kids with us whenever we can.
Yeah.
So if you've got a guest speaker and you have to take them out for dinner, take the kids and let them have ice cream and fizzy and extras on it. And so we started doing that. So now what it means is that a lot of stuff isn't stealing family time, so to speak, but
they get to like the bit of a benefit, bit of a bonus,
and they get excited about it because they get to have ice cream and fizzy on a school night or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I think that was really great advice. And so we've done that ever since. We've invited the kids along, and whenever we have a speaker, we introduce the boys, we get them involved, and
let them speak into their life as well and pray for them.
Pray for them, speak into their life. Let the boys come and hang out with the pastors or whatever and be part of it. The boys think they're special. They think like it's a little bonus of being a pastor's kid. Because there are some downsides, but I think we've tried to, and we try it with our staff kids as well, with the kids of our staff team as well.
Just bless them.
It's just to bless them and just, like, give them the lollies out of your drawer. Feed them the chocolate that's in the cupboard that's supposed to be for something else. Like mum and dad are here, they're busy, they're giving out to others. We want to make sure that they feel seen and known as well.
Totally. It's so good. I think the other thing we realize is because we don't really get weekends as a family, and so there's not like we're going to go away for a couple nights here or there. But like most of our life is pretty regimented in terms of our schedule. So what we decided early on to do was every school holidays we would take a week off. We'd take the first week or the second week of those school holidays, and that was all about family time. So we would borrow someone's batch, or we'd go have a staycation or do something where it was just, this is our time. We are giving you dedicated 5-6 days that's just for us as a family. And that rhythm, I think, was really, especially in those early years, that rhythm was really good and really helpful. It gave us all something to look forward to.
And it's a rhythm that we've kind of instituted church-wide in terms of the rhythm of the terms that we use for a church. The calendar. We use those holiday breaks as well. So we don't do staff meetings in the school holidays. We try and slow it all down so that our team can also create those rhythms in their own lives as well.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's been such a game changer in terms of bringing some balance into our lives. I think, I do think that, I wonder if historically ministry has been all in, no breaks, no balance, like the season of burnout came in and all that kind of thing. And I think there's perhaps a different way of ministry now, which sees a little bit more balance come in.
Yes.
It's still all-consuming. It's still part of everything that we are and everything that we do, but it carries a bit more of a balance that's maintainable for a consistent long period of time.
And so like if we talk about, because I think leadership is not just how do I lead an organization and what am I doing there, but also how am I leading myself? How am I leading my family? How am I leading my kids? And so let's talk a bit about how we lead our kids, like how we raise these little mantas. Like how do we do this?
Little mantas.
And I think that God has just blessed us with awesome kids.
Oh wow, yeah.
But
I think He gave us just the right kind of temperament.
Yeah.
In our children that we needed to do this job.
Absolutely. But I think there is some stuff that we do or we have done, or how we parent them and how we raise them, that I think has helped to form them into some pretty neat kids and keeps them in a good space in terms of their relationship with God, their relationship with the church. So wisdom, Bexy, insights.
Gosh, I actually sometimes when people ask about how we raise our boys, and I actually don't. My first answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we just do it. We just do what we do. We do it how we feel led, and but I guess there has probably been some things that we've consistently and tried to do with them. I think we've probably, as I said, like bringing them on the journey, I think we've kept a really close-knit family unit in terms of our family time.
Yep. We've done good stuff, fun stuff with them all the time.
Fun, keeping fun on the in the forefront has been like we've done times where we've turned up at school and taken them out of school for the day.
Yeah, don't tell the school.
That was back before all of the really strict things.
I think we've also made sure that we've got good family values.
Yes.
And these are our values as a family. This is what we do. This is not just what you should do, but as a family, this is how we operate.
This is who we are.
This is who we are as a family. This is what it's like to be a Green in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
And I know I was really firm on the boys when they were younger, like in terms of behavior and things. I just didn't let anything slide. I wasn't harsh and I wasn't overbearing. But they knew if they crossed the line, they were going to have a conversation with Dad. And I just let them know real quick, hey, in our family, we don't do that. In our family, we don't treat people like that. If we're going to honor God, this is how it looks. And so we've tried to do that, but also really model to them what a faith looks like. They see us every morning. Having prayer and reading
with
the
our
Bible
Bibles.
and having our own devotions. We are very open with them. Like we talk about stuff with them. They are very, very aware of what's going on or has gone on in our lives. We include them in stuff. We try and keep really good communication. But we also try and encourage them to, hey, find your faith. Get around. We are very blessed. We've got phenomenal kids and youth leaders in the church who just love on them and
I think being
look after
strategic
them.
about who's in their world, right?
Like
who's
they
speaking
need
into
more
them.
than just a couple of voices. They need more than just mum and dad's voices. They need those 6 or 7 influential adults that are going to speak into their world,
especially
that they really
as they
look
get
up
older.
to. Yeah.
They're listening to other people, not us. So there's times when one of the youth leaders or someone will share with them and speak to them and you're thinking, I've tried telling
I've
you
told
that.
you 1,000 times,
But they listen to them and not us. But that's so natural, right? As they get older.
And we were that once. We were the youth pastors once
absolutely.
for other people's kids.
But it just shows you the importance of having those people in their world and being deliberate about that. And we've done specific things along the way. I remember before our oldest Judah went on a football trip.
Yeah.
He was going overseas to Spain. And so we asked people, can you come?
And
can you pray for him? Can you speak into his life?
Yeah, that was cool.
Before he goes away. It's setting up some of those really strategic moments, those strategic relationships for them, because they do need more than just mum and dad speaking into their life.
Right.
And you want those to be
Absolutely.
the right kind of voices speaking into their life.
Absolutely.
I think one of the other things that we've tried to do is that open communication and talking to our boys and having the tough conversations, having the conversations which looks like, I'm sorry, I overreacted.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Owning our mistakes.
I apologize I for snapping at you. Teaching them how to apologize back.
Yeah.
Teaching them, like being in their world but not overbearingly in their world. I think having conversations around faith, even like the I love you and encouragement, and speaking life over them. I think has been something we've deliberately done.
Totally.
I think every day we've said I love you to our boys.
Yeah, probably
and
way
I
too
love
much.
it.
Probably way too much.
Way too overbearing. I love it because we will be in a crowded room and that 15-year-old boy will still say, I love you, Mum.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's cool. It's really cool. And I think the other thing we've done in terms of developing their own faith and their own walk with God, and both our boys have been baptized off their own back. They both wanted to do that at different times. And I think what we have done is valued serving God, because like doing church is not just like, oh, I have to do church and I have to serve on a team. It's like, no. It's our joy to find our place in God and be used by Him to bless people and serve people. That's the heart of church.
Yeah.
And so we've tried to model for them, hey, boys, you don't just come and sit in church and eat all the crunchy bars or find the lolly jar or mess with the leaders. Like, we have to find a place where we can make a difference here.
Yeah.
So you have to find your place, get on the, serving the under fives, or get on the music team, or
and earn your place by serving.
You
not
don't
just because you're the pastor's
you don't get a
kid,
free
can you
ride.
get on and get a free ride.
Yeah, serve. Make sure you're helping. Like whenever I say to them, whenever they're coming in on a Sunday, I'm like, hey, make sure you're helpful. Make sure you're looking after the leaders, and make sure you're being supportive to poor old Danielle, who has to manage everyone's children on a Sunday morning.
She's a saint.
She's an absolute saint. But that's helped them to see, oh, God uses me to bless people, and God's using me to help others around me and walk a journey of faith. So that's been really cool, and we haven't put huge pressure on them to like, you have to be this and you have to do that, you have to worship. Like, it's been cool just seeing them discover that in their own way, in their own place. So that's been really good. I think we're doing okay. They're doing so far so good.
So far so good.
And so let's talk a bit more about like how we fill our tank and how we wind down from leadership, ministry, church. But not even that. Like, if I think about, if you're working any job, high stress, high pressure, lots going on, how do you find the time, space, and what do we do to kind of like just chill and refill the emotional, spiritual, mental, physical tank?
Well, I know one thing we do together.
Yes.
Because we do have separate things that we don't do together, but we do together is we love a good DIY project.
We do.
At home.
We do.
I am slightly obsessed.
Yeah,
with
you're the
home
ideas.
decor. I'm the ideas girl.
I'm the execution under duress.
Under duress.
Yes. No, we both enjoy it.
But
I
love
hands-on.
hands-on.
Yeah, I love
like,
working. I love working with my hands. I love creating stuff. It's one of those things. I remember someone said to me years ago, as a pastor, you're in the job that is never done.
Yes.
There's never a point of completion. So
there's always more to do.
Yeah. So find a hobby or something outside of ministry where you can look at it at the end of the day and go, that's done, that's completed. And so I find working with my hands and creating stuff around the house and building things and painting walls. At least I can paint a wall and go, I painted that wall. That's
and I've got
done.
lots of things for you to do.
I've seen the list.
Yes.
I've seen the list. Don't you worry about that. But
you have the gym.
It's a real tank full. I love the gym. I go to the gym. I try and go to the gym 3-4 times a week. I love mowing the lawns. It's a great. I don't know. Just
you love mowing the lawns and then looking at the lawn that you have mowed.
I do. I do. Actually, for my birthday, it was just a few weeks ago. My birthday gift was a lawn roller.
It was.
A lawn roller. I'm officially in my 40s.
Yes.
I've got
so that you can make lines.
Down the lawn, which I then look at even more. It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
We hang out with friends. We like going out for dinners. We like just hanging out together. We'll occasionally go out for bushwalks. Just
board
relax,
games.
take the dogs for a walk, go to the beach. All those kinds of little things. But again, you've got to build an intentionality. I think in this day and age, there is a real tendency to, I'm just going to sit at home, scroll my phone. I'm just going to sit at home and watch Netflix. I'm going to just not do a whole lot. And that's okay one day. But if that is your norm, you're not moving, you're not creating, you're not experiencing. You've got to breathe some fresh air, hang out with some mates,
sunlight,
play some golf, like all that kind of stuff. And I learned probably the hard way that going to the gym or playing golf is not a luxury for me in terms of my own stability and mental health and my own wellness to do what God's called me to do. It's actually a necessity. Like, I have to do it. If I'm going to be the best version of me showing up here every day, if I'm going to be the best me for you, if I'm going to be the best dad for my kids, if I'm going to be the best pastor, best leader, best preacher, whatever, if I'm going to be the best, I have to steward myself well as well. So that means taking rest, having a Sabbath day where I'm not doing work, I'm not checking emails, where I'm mowing the lawns and going to the gym and going to the beach or playing some golf. That stuff actually enables me to be a better version of me when I show up in the office. So, like making sure I am moving in the gym, ideally I'd love to be in the gym every day. It's not quite possible with a schedule with kids and everything like that. But I do my best to do that. Why? Because once I've done that, I get this mad endorphin rush. I get like all the dopamines hitting. You feel good. You feel refreshed. You're getting stronger. You're feeling good about yourself. You've just exerted, physically. It's great. But then I'm sharp. I'm mentally sharp. So I can come in and I get 4 hours worth of work done in an hour because I'm just switched on and really motivated from that.
And it's about realizing that those kinds of things are actually as important as the work that you're doing.
Right.
Right?
Totally.
We can prioritize the work because it feels more important.
Yes.
But actually it's what we do outside of the work
That's right.
that is just as important and just as valuable. And oftentimes you have to purposefully schedule those things in.
Totally.
I know for me, one of the biggest things one of the ways that I refuel is by being on my own.
Yes.
And I have to be very deliberate about that.
You kick me out of the house.
Sometimes I kick
You're
you
like,
out of the
you
house.
need to leave.
You need to leave.
Not
You are
hanging
not
around with
allowed
me
at
tomorrow.
home
Yeah,
because
I'm
I
like,
need some time by myself.
Fair enough.
Because that's just how I refuel.
Yeah, that's how you're wired.
I get drained by being around people, so I need to refuel by being on my own. And it's just about me being at home in my own house, and I can potter.
Yeah, and this is a great thing because there may be a whole bunch of house chores to do. And I know that for you, and this is going to sound crazy, but for you, for me to leave the house, to leave you alone for 6 hours, and for you just tutu on doing the dishes and cleaning the bathroom.
I love it.
You're like, I'm like, let your tank be filled, my love.
It does fill my tank.
I will go and play golf with my mates while you tidy the house and clean it. Like that is, the Lord is good. Let me just say, He is good. He is good. I think that the challenge, and maybe I'll speak to like those who might be listening who are in ministry, the danger we have and the misconception we have is that ministry should fill me with all the things that I need to be fulfilled because it's ministry, it's church, it's serving God. But the reality is it takes a lot from you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and not everything you need to be the healthiest, best you're going to find in this place.
Yes.
So you have to build your life. I remember Pastor Rick Shelton saying to me, build your life on different tracks. So each track is going to fill you in a different way, and you need certain things in order to be the best version of you. So don't be afraid to step into those spaces. And if you are neglecting those things, no matter where you are, I think you need to reassess where you're at because we don't just want you, we want the best version of you, we want the best stewarded version of you and the you that God can move through in a powerful way is a healthy you. And I think we can't ignore those things.
And I think it's important for longevity because if we're going to do this, we want to do it over a long, consistent period of time, not a short burst and then we've gone so hard and so fast that we can't continue that and keep being consistent in that. And I think that's why things like scheduling seasoned breaks are really important.
Yep.
I think something that I've learned is that God actually designed the world for breaks, for celebration, for things that refuel us.
Yeah.
So the way that He designed the seasons, there's 4 seasons that are 4 different seasons.
Yep.
So we get
there's sowing and there's harvest and there's rest.
And so, and then He designed like day and night. So it's things like getting good sleep. Nighttime is for sleeping. So sleep. Getting good rest every day.
Those
but then
just basic disciplines.
Also the sixth day and on the 7th day rest cycle. So there's weekly cycles and systems for rest and for Sabbath as well. And then in the Bible, there's so much that talks about festivals and celebrations that happen annually or every 6 months. And I think it's really important. I am a big celebration person in terms of birthdays. I like to make a big deal out of birthdays. I like to make a big deal out of school exams.
You got a good report card.
You got a good report. Let's go out for dinner. Or let's go and get an ice cream at the end of term. Or I think those things actually promote a good balance in life as well. And I think if we can be purposeful and intentional with some of that stuff, it feeds you.
I think one of the other things that we've learned is that we need something to look forward to.
Yes.
So, and this is a lesson we've learned along the way, is that we schedule in something every 10 weeks or so that we're looking forward to doing. That it's a bit of a break or it's hey, I'm looking forward to that thing. Because again,
it's different to normal.
It's different to normal, and it may be like a dinner out. It may be 2 days off where we're going to say something. It may be like we've got our 20th wedding anniversary coming up. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Happy anniversary, darling.
We're going away for a couple of nights, just you and I, just to get a couple of nights away. And that, I'm so looking forward to that. Like it's a break from the normal, it's out of the routine, and it's just going to be awesome. But if you don't have those things, all you have to look forward to is tomorrow.
It's a very long time away.
It's a long
for
time away
yeah.
till Christmas or to this thing. And it doesn't have to be much, but I think just booking in things that, hey, I'm going to do that thing and I'm really looking forward to doing that thing. It might be going, I've got to go round a golf with my mate happening next Friday. I'm really looking forward to that day or whatever it is. So just scheduling that stuff in and making sure, hey, we've got nothing to look forward to between now and Christmas. What can we do? It doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be much, but just going, we're going to do this thing because we really enjoy that and I'm looking forward to being in that place, or there's a bit of a reward or a bit of a, that sort of stuff that can actually be quite sustaining because you're like, I will keep going because I know this is coming.
Well, I liken it to when you're on a long run, right? You don't have to get to the end. You just have to get to the next refuel station where they give you some water and a piece of orange and a bit of a Powerade, and then you can go again.
Yeah,
It's the refuel station.
That's true.
In the middle of the run, right? And so we all need those to get us. We don't have to go the whole way.
Yeah.
We just have to go to the next refuel station.
That's great.
But without those, it feels like a very long way.
Great. We're going to hit a couple more questions and things that have come in, but how do you build deep wells in God? Like, obviously there's organizational leadership. I mean, I think one of the misconceptions about being a church pastor is you just get to pray and preach the word and love people.
And drink coffee.
But there is, honestly, organizationally, strategically, there's so much going on in this thing that will consume your time and your life. But how do we continue to dig deep wells that we are ministering and giving out from a place of overflow? Because it can be very easy, and I've had seasons, and I know you have too, where I'm pulling from a dry well here, like I'm preaching from a place where I ain't got much left. But so how do you dig those deep wells to ensure you're always ministering and leading and doing what God's asked you to do from a place of depth and overflow?
My first thought when you asked that question was, you make the most of your trials.
Right.
Because honestly, the times in my life when I have dug the deepest wells have been when we have been going through the most difficult times.
It's true.
And there are some times where I will look at a person, and as much as this sounds hard, I think to myself, I think they need a trial.
Yeah.
Because a trial teaches you that you have to lean on God.
Yeah.
It teaches you
The Bible
dependence.
teaches us rejoice in sufferings.
Exactly.
Like when you are tested, when the testing of your faith comes, count it all joy.
Because what does it do? It brings you to a place of maturity.
Yep.
And I think I've learned to dig when there's been a need for it in my life. And so
praise God for the need. Praise God for the that's
Exactly.
And when you come through it, that's where you end up, and you're like, oh man, like if I think back to 2020 to 2024, most brutal 4 years of my life.
Absolutely.
Lost, broken, dark. And I look back now, I go, oh, praise God for that. Lord, don't ever take me through it again. But thank you, God, because I met you there.
Yeah.
And I dug a well there, and I found the God in the valley of the shadow of death, and I met him and I learned and I grew, and so there is something beautiful in discovering, God in the midst of that sort of stuff, and the wealth of faith that God grows in you in that place.
And there are parts of God's character and who he is that you will never meet and get to know if you're not going through trials. You don't meet the God who provides for you if you don't have a need for provision.
If you've got everything you need.
If you've got everything.
Yeah.
How are you going to meet the God who provides for your needs if you never have need?
Yeah.
How are you going to meet the God who's a healer if you never have
need healing,
for healing? Like there's just so many parts of God that you learn through trial and suffering. And I think if we can learn to maximize our trial and our suffering to dig deeper wells,
move beyond the why God question, but God, what?
What are you
God,
what are you asking of me?
Not why is this happening, but God, what are you wanting to do?
What are you doing?
What are you teaching? What are you growing?
Totally.
What are you removing? What are you correcting?
Yes.
What are you bringing it? Like I liken it to this continual process of dying to yourself. If anyone should follow me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow after me. And it's this process of, I just need to keep dying a whole lot more to myself and parts of me that need to die, that I might be more resurrected in Christ. I might be more in the image of who He's asked me to be. And I think deep wells come from daily discipline. You know,
Totally.
you just got to get fresh water every day. Go and meet with the Lord. If you want
Every
to
day.
or not, if you like it or not, if you're like, oh, the Bible's boring, I don't care. Faith comes by hearing, and by hearing the word of God. You want more faith? Get in the word.
Absolutely.
Pray in the Spirit. Like, just spend time in worship, whatever it is, however it looks for you. For me, I journal, I write, I do.
Yeah.
Like, it's just has to be an everyday thing, because I don't want to be living off last month's water.
Yeah.
You know, I need to have it fresh every day.
I think maybe it took me too long to learn this, but I think when we were going through trial, you learn to dig deep. You go there every day because you've got no choice. You need to.
Yeah.
What the key learning though is not
Stay
in
there.
that, it's to stay there
Stay
every
there.
day when
Yeah.
the seasons are good.
Yeah.
When the sun's shining
Yeah.
and the birds are singing and
Will I keep
everything's
going
good,
before
will
God
I
and
keep
go,
going back?
Yeah. Like, in the good, in the bad, in the ugly, in the beautiful. Like,
It's
God, I'm
turning up
coming to
every
your
day.
feet every day.
Yeah,
And
every
meeting
day.
with you and knowing you.
Yeah.
And in this good season, I will rejoice in the good season. I'll praise you and I'll find you. And then in the difficult, I will continue to rejoice and praise you and find you and learn to stay in that place of sustenance in God, not self-reliance or self-ability.
Yes.
And because that's the human tendencies. We go, oh, I'm good. I don't need God. Like, and I often talk about a lot of our faith. We treat God like the cosmic vending machine.
Yeah.
Like, I put my prayer on, I get my chocolate bar. I'm good. But I go to Him when I need Him, and that is such a shallow view of
Yeah.
God. And he is not a vending machine. He's relational. He's personal. He wants to know you and be known by you and form you and shape you and grow you. And there's so much more than just, I need, so I ask.
Yeah.
It's like, will I seek when I don't need? Will I seek Him not because I need something, because I want to know Him and grow in Him? And that's the beautiful part of faith.
Yeah.
And that's where I think you move into different leadership levels, move into different capacities, because you are growing in that place and digging those deep wells. So, like, for us, it's a non-negotiable. We just meet with God. It's part of our rhythm. It's part
every
of how
day.
we do stuff.
And if that means you get up earlier, you get up earlier.
Yeah.
I set my alarm 2 hours before I have to leave the house.
Wow.
Not because it takes me 2 hours to get ready, but because I'm leaving an hour
to meet with God. Yeah. Wow.
And so it's just the non-negotiable. And if I have to be out the door earlier, I set my alarm earlier. But it's always a part of the rhythm of our life. And now I look forward to it every day.
Yeah.
When I go to bed at night, I can't wait to be up in the morning, getting my cup of tea, sitting down, opening up the Word. The Word is where I go to first.
Yep.
I put on worship music. I open up my Bible and I get into the Word and I love it. You journal, right?
Yeah,
you write prayers
first thing I write prayers. Yeah, because I'm recently diagnosed ADHD. So, but what that means for me is if I just try and pray or whatever, my mind just goes everywhere. So if I put pen to paper,
to write it.
It just helps me so much to focus, to lean in, to write. And I literally just write all my prayers. I got books and books and books of just my prayers over the years where I've just journal them and write them, and I focus in, and I lean in God, and I go to the Word, and I just ask lots of questions of it. What are you saying to me, Lord? What does this mean for me? What are you shaping in me? I'm not going for a message. I'm going for bread for today, for me. And
for
then
transformation.
out of that, there might be a message come. Out of that, God might speak to me or teach me. But the reality is, I'm going there to meet with Him because I need Him more than life itself. Because without Him, I really am nothing. And this is not sustained by my gifting or my ability. God has wired us for what we do, and by His grace, He's given us the gifts. But He's the gift giver, it doesn't come from me.
Yes.
And so what my role is to stay connected to Him, that I would produce the fruit of the Holy Spirit, that I would show that, and then to steward what God has given me well, that I can keep growing and learning and studying and reading and deepening the well, both spiritually, theologically, intellectually, so that we can do what we do as best we can. And it's a wild journey. It's a whole lot of fun. It has some immense challenges, and I think we would both be honest to say ministry has been the greatest blessing, but we've wanted to quit probably more times than we can count. I think generally I want to quit about at least every 3 months.
I remember one particular time you were like, I'm going to quit. And you marched down to the bathroom. You went into the loo
Yep.
to go to the toilet. And I remember banging on the toilet, on the outside of the toilet. And I said, hey, Steve, what do Greens do? And you were like, we don't quit.
Yeah, that was a real moment. And the thing is, like, I know I'm not gonna.
No,
I just
you're
like
not
you
gonna.
entertain that moment,
Yeah.
but it's again, everything comes back to am I called? And so I think for people listening, like, what is it that God has asked of you to do? Is it to lead yourself and your family? Is it to lead? Maybe you're leading a small group or a ministry area. You're involved in some place. Maybe you are leading a church. Maybe you're in a space where you're leading a ministry or a business or whatever. What is it that God is asking of you right now? What is it He's calling you? What is the step He's maybe calling you to do? And I would encourage you, keep leaning into Him, keep going on that journey, keep growing, keep digging those deep wells. And then just watch what God is asking you to do and step into it. You know, how is God asking you to bless people? Who is He calling you to speak into? What is He asking of you to give of yourself that the kingdom might extend? And that is the great journey and adventure of ministry, really, and faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bexy, it's been amazing. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for part 1 and part 2. This has been really good, and we pray this has been helpful, maybe giving us an insight into our world. These podcasts are going to continue on. We're going to be dropping new episodes every month with different people, different interesting characters, where I'm just going to continue to have leadership conversations with interesting people and learn what they've learned and grow. And the heart of it is that for any of us, no matter where we are on the journey, that we would continue to grow in our own walk with the Lord, in our own discipleship, but also particularly if we're in some kind of leadership, that we would have a broadened horizon for what God is calling us into. So thank you, Bexy.
Pleasure.
God bless you. We'll see you guys next time.